Krishna Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Bhaktya Vina Apurana Lakshay Shivasya Kamani Kara Kamati Kripa Mahitam Sharanam Prapanam Vrindenu Bhase Janara Vindam Vrindenu Bhase Janara Vindam Govinda Namo Dharamaraveji Govinda Namo Dharamaraveji Govinda Namo Dharamaraveji Govinda Namo Dharamaraveji. Hey Krishna, Hey Rama, Hey Saketi, Govinda Namo Dharamaraveji. Sham Sundar Shikandashika Swahasmuli Manohara Radhikar Sukamama Kripanidhe Sukhir Charnakin Kurin Kuru Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvayavana Iti Vidyayate Vitam Nama Charantakam. First of all, I have for my sister Dandavat Puspanji, my heart like flowers thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual guru, Asvadev Paramarata Tama Guru Parakarma, Nitya Pravishta Om Vishnupada, Ashtotara Sata Sisimat, Rupanugacharya Varya, Sila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami. Secondly, I have for my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada and all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Prabhu. And finally, I have my pranam to all the Samu Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas. Adi Adi. By the causes of Sri Guranga, we are continuing with that discussion of how the glories of the holy name, directly, indirectly, openly and sometimes confidentially, have been expressed in the supreme of all scriptures, Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam. So today, we will study this very important verse from 10th canto, 11th canto, chapter 5, text 48. I can't see the verse from this one. This is a verse spoken by Narad Muni, and he's discussing transcendental knowledge with Vasudev Maharaj. So we can chant the verse. Vairena yam ripatayo shishupala pondra Shalvadeyo gati vilasa vilokanadye Jayanta akrita Shayanasanado Tatsamyamapur Anurakta Diyam Punakim Here, Narad Rishi, he's saying, Vairena, that means with a spirit of hostility, enmity. There were Nripataya, kings on this earth, who were absorbed in the mood of hostility towards Sri Krishna. Such as Vairenganyam Nripataya Shishupal Pondra, such as Shishupal, Pondrak Maharaj, also known as Pondrak Vasudev, Shalvadeo and Shalva, and here Adyo means etc., like Dantavakra. But though they had a spirit of enmity towards Krishna, they were absorbed in remembering him. How did they remember him? Gati Vilasa Vilokanade. They remember how Krishna walks, how he smiles, how he glances, how he speaks. And what was the result of that? Dhyayanta Agritadya. By constant meditation upon him, then their chitta, here Dhya means chitta, transformed. Akrita means became exactly like Krishna's form. And when did they remember him? Dhyayanta means they were remembering. Shayana Sanado, all the time. Shayana means when Shishupal, Shalva, Pondrak, when they were taking rest, when they lay down, Shayana means lying down in the bed. When they lay down in the bed, all that was coming in their mind was the form of Krishna. How he walks, how he smiles, how he glances. Asana means sitting comfortably. So when they got out of bed and they walked around and they sat down to relax, but still, because constantly the remembrance of Krishna was going on due to the intensity of their relationship. What was their relationship? Vairena. Hate. Enmity. So, and what was the result of that? Tatsamyam. Tatsamyam means they became the same as him. In other words, they attained Sarupya Mukti. Sarupya Mukti means to attain a form exactly like the form of Supreme Lord. Of course, there are a few differences, minor differences. But the form which is Satchidananda, which is four-armed, and eternal and blissful. So, Tatsamyam, Apu, they attained Sarupya Mukti, a form with a beauty similar to that as the Lord. Therefore, Anurakta Diyam Punakim. So what more can we say? Punakim means what? Puna means more, or again. Again, what can we tell Anurakta Diya? Those whose chitta is absorbed in thinking of Krishna, but with affection, with love. Is there any doubt that they will attain the spiritual form? No doubt at all. So, perhaps you know, when during the time of the solar eclipse, Sri Krishna, along with the whole Yadu dynasty, they went to Kurukshetra. And seeing this was a perfect opportunity to meet with Krishna, Nanda Maharaj and the residents of Vrindavan, they also came to Kurukshetra. And there, secretly, Sri Krishna met with Radharani. And Srimati Radhika, she was weeping. Krishna said, I am inside and outside of everything. Can a pot which is made of clay ever be separated from the earth? Never. Because it's made of earth. That's its very ingredient. So in the same way, being the origin of all existence, nothing is different from me. And therefore, you, oh my dear Radhika, dear Gopis, you can never be separated from me. Only you I have the experience of being separating from me because of your uncontrolled mind. So you should meditate. And then you will realize that we're always together. So Radhika and the gopis, they did not appreciate this advice very much. They thought previously you sent Uddhav to Vrindavan to instruct us on this Jnana Yoga. And now you're personally giving the same instructions to us yourself. We don't appreciate this. We're cowherd girls. We are not accustomed to the austerities of meditation. We are fickle-minded village girls. This instruction is fit for who? Agada Bodhai. Avuschate nalinanava padharavinda Yogeshwara Riti vichincha agada bodhai Samsarinam patita uttara avambam geyan Jusham api manasudhyat sadhana. Radhika said, O Krishna, you whose navel is beautiful like a lotus, great demigods with vast intelligence like a Brahma and Shiva, they can meditate upon your lotus feet. But we are not accustomed to meditating on your lotus feet. We are accustomed to directly holding your lotus feet upon our hearts. We are just fallen persons, fallen into the deep well of household life. So how can we meditate? So we simply request that by your mercy, may your lotus feet be awakened in our heart, because we don't have the capacity to meditate. So these words are called Solam Vakya. That means extremely bitter sarcasm. Bitter sarcasm. What she really means is, Krishna, you are so cruel. Brahma meditates on your lotus feet for thousands of years, but your lotus feet never come in his heart. He's lucky if he can get a glimpse of you in samadhi, of the light emanating from the tips of your toenails for half a second. And us gopis, we remember your lotus feet at every moment. We try to take your lotus feet out of our heart and absorb ourselves in our household activities, but your lotus feet never go to that person who wants them, and they never leave that person who wants to get rid of them. Yes, Krishna. You know, meditation is for two types of people. Great sages, and it's for those who are falling into the dark well of household life. If they practice meditation, they can be cured of their avidya and come out of their ignorance. So Krishna, which one are we? Are we demigods? No. Then we are fallen into the household life. Yes, Krishna, you remember how attached we are to household life. Krishna himself said, Ya ma bhajan durjaya geha sankala samrishtadva pratiyatu sadhana. My dear gopis, I can never repay you because you have broken the shackles of attachment to your family and household life, to your body, mind, everything. Even you forgot your own name. Being overwhelmed with ecstatic, spontaneous love just to please me. So when Radhika said, may your lotus feet, by your mercy, appear in my heart, she means, Anera Hridayaman, Moraman Vrindavan, Moramari Eka Kori Jari. For ordinary person, their mind and their heart is one. Mind is the place of sankalpa vikalpa, accepting something and then later rejecting it. I'm going to do this. Then after some time, no, I'm not sure. I'm going to do that. So the mind is always changing, moving, but the heart never moves. So for most people, what they call their heart is really their mind. Because one day they tell, I love you, and the next day they break the relationship. But Radharani said, my heart is Vrindavan. It's a place that never moves. So if you want your lotus feet to appear in my heart, you should come with me now. Leave all the Yadu monks, the Yadu dynasty and Gokavasis, and this kingship, this royal family, and come back to Vrindavan, back to the bank of Jamuna, back to the kunjas of Giriraj Govardhan, to Shyamakund and Radhakund. Krishna said, don't be angry with me and think that I am ungrateful. I will return to Vrindavan. But there are just 2 or 4 more demonic kings. I have to defeat them first. Otherwise they may attack Vrindavan. And when I finish them, then surely I will return. In fact, you should think I have already returned. Mahi bhakti bhutanam amritatva kalpate. Dishyam rasim matsneho bhavatinam madapanaha. You have affection for me. So you should think I am already with you. Of course that has a double meaning. The double meaning is we are together in the Aprakat Lila. This is a Prakat Lila in this world. And when you close your eyes and you remember me, and you see that I am playing with you, that is not your imagination, that is not a memory, that is not even a spurti. But rather, you are seeing the Apakat Lila, where we are eternally together. Therefore, Bhavatinam Madapanaha. You should know, actually because of your affection, you have already attained me. So then, Sri Krishna, he left Kurukshetra after a few months staying there and relishing beautiful pastimes with Radhika and Rajagopis at night. And he returned to Dwarka, and Brijvasis returned to Brajamanda. So who were those few demons who were left? They are mentioned in this verse. Vairena Nyamra Kriya, Shishupala Pondar, Shishupal, Pondar Vasudeva, Shalva, Dantavaka. Dantavaka was the last one. After he was killed, directly Krishna went to Lohavan, to Gaurai, the village of Gaurai in Lohavan, and met with the Brijvasis. But the order here, actually the first one Krishna had to deal with was Pondrak Vasudeva. Now actually, Krishna had promised that he would return to Braja, but he went to Dwarka and time was going on. Balaram, he couldn't tolerate it, knowing that the residents of Vrindavan were suffering so much. He requested Krishna again and again, when are you going? When will you visit them? But Krishna remained silent and bowed his head in shame. So finally Balaram could not tolerate it anymore. So Balaram himself went to Vrindavan. It was while Balaram was in Vrindavan that Pondrak Maharaj thought, this is my chance. This is my chance to kill Krishna. Because his brother is very powerful, he's not there now. So one day, Sri Krishna was in Dwarka. And a messenger arrived there. And the messenger, he read out his message to the assembled members of the Yadu dynasty, headed by the emperor, Ugrasen Maharaj. All the Yadus were there, of course, except for Balaram, Akrura, Uddhav, Satyaki, Pradyumna, Samba. So, the messenger said, here is a message from the king of Kurusha. The king of Kurusha, Pondrak Vasudeva Maharaj. It is a message for Dwarkadish, Krishna. This is the message. I am Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the origin of all existence, and you, Dwarkadish, are an impostor. How dare you carry my insignia, the conch and the chakra? You should return them to me. give up your false play. Otherwise, if you don't come and surrender at my lotus feet, then I will fight with you and finish you. So when the messenger read out this message, all the warriors, young and old in the Yadu assembly of the Yadus, just burst out laughing. For them it was quite hilarious. So Krishna was also smiling. So then he said to that messenger, "Oh, you can tell your king, Pandrak, that surely I will give my insignia, the conch and the chakra, to him in person. And then, when I give him my chakra in person, then surely he will become the shelter of the crows which will eat his face, and the dogs which will feast on his body on the battlefield." So then that messenger, he was very upset. And he said, "Prepare for war." And then he left and he went to Bhaktapandrak Vasudev. So then Krishna, he was ready to fight with him. So he left with some warriors on his chariot and he set off. So Pandrak Vasudev was very close to the king of Kashi. So when Krishna went in the direction of Kashi, and on the way there he met Pandrak Vasudev came with his armies. And behind him, the king of Kashi also had 3 Opshahinis, 3 battalions of soldiers, huge amount of soldiers. And they met together on the battlefield. So Krishna was looking, and he saw Pandrak Vasudev was completely imitating him. He had some extra false arms. He had false chakra and conch and club and lotus. He had a fake Srivat's mark on his chest. He had a fake Kostuba money. He was wearing golden silk cloth, top and bottom piece, and an imitation fake transcendental crown. And Krishna's thinking he's just like a child. You know, sometimes children are playing in the forest, and some of the children say, "Okay, we'll play a game and you'll be the king." And so then the boy sits down and the others stand around him and worship him like he's the king. So he was just like that. He was completely fooled by all the sycophants around him who said, "Yes, yes, you are the Supreme Lord." He was really convinced. So it was quite pathetic, really. So then he began to insult Krishna, and there was a big fight. But very easily Krishna sent his chakra and ruled the head of Pandrak Vasudev. He was finished. So then also he killed the king of Kashi. And then when the king of Kashi was killed, Krishna actually killed the king of Kashi with an arrow. And he shot the arrow and it cut off the head of the king of Kashi and carried it through the air and then dropped the head in the city of Kashi. Because just before the battle, the king told he had so many beautiful queens. And he told them, "I am such a great hero. Now I will go and fight with Dwakadish, and I will cut off his head and I will bring it into the city." So Krishna, he's omniscient, he knew all this. So, due to his sense of humor, Krishna shot his head with the arrow and it went through the air and it was falling from the sky. And the people in the city were looking at it and they, "What's that? The demigods are showering lotus flowers. I'll be the first to catch it. I'll be the first to catch it." And they ran to get what they thought was a lotus flower dropped by a demigod. And then, it's a head. Whose head is it? And then they noticed, it's our king. Then all the queens began to lament. They were crying. So the son of the king, his name was Sudakshina. And he was determined. He wanted to destroy Krishna and all the Yadu dynasty. So then, he prayed to Lord Shiva And he was told, oh, you can do a yagya, and by this yagya, you can call it a Dakshinagni. And by this yagya, one kritya, one demonic personality will appear, and he can destroy anyone who is against the Brahmanas. So this Sudakshina was thinking, yeah, Krishna is against the Brahmanas. Because all the Brahmanas bow down to him, they all pray to him. And he's a Kshatriya. Why does he make the higher caste bow down and pray to him? He must be against the Brahmanas. So when Lord Shiva gave this benediction, it will work, but only against someone who's against the Brahmanas. Then Sudakshina was bewildered. And he said, yes, that's good. So then he did the Dakshinagni, this fire sacrifice, and this ferocious creature, taller than a palm tree, came out, with the fire coming from his eyes and carrying a trident. And he said, go and destroy Dwarka. So then, this demon, he set off, and he came to Dwarka. And he was starting to smash the walls. Wherever he was looking, he was setting everywhere on fire by his glance. And the residents of Dwarka were crying, save me, save me! Oh Krishna, save us, save us! So at that time, Krishna couldn't be bothered to go out. He was in a gambling match. He was enjoying a dice game. So he was still throwing the dice and playing the game, and when he heard them calling for help. So he just called his Sudarshan Chakra. Oh, Sudarshan, go and deal with that. And he continued to play dice. So then the Sudarshan Chakra went and terrified that demon. And the demon, he could not fight. So then, if the demon that comes from the Dakshinagni fails in his mission, then he returns and destroys whoever invoked him. So then that demon returned to Kashi, and then he killed Sudakshina and all his family members, and Sudarshan followed behind that demon and burned Kashi to the ground. There was nothing left. So in this way, Krishna got rid of Pondrak Vasudev and his allies. So Vaidena Yamra Patayo Shishupala Pondra. This happened while Balaram was in Vrindavan. After that, Balaram, he took permission from Nanda Maharaj, and he promised the gopis also, now I will go to Dwarka, and I promise I will very soon send Krishna. If he will not come, I will personally by force bring him. So Balaram made this promise. And when he was leaving, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda gave many gifts to him. And the gopis also came to Balaram and gave some gifts. So Radhika and her Sakis, they gave Balaram a gift for Krishna. 2 parrots, Ashok and Sarika. Male parrot and female parrot. So they trained these parrots to speak. And so Balaram came back to Dwarka and met with Krishna and presented him, oh, here's the gift from the gopis. So then Krishna took the parrots and kept them in a cage in his room. So they had sent some foodstuffs that they had prepared, and Krishna honored that, and gradually it was gone. But those parrots were still there. And every day, the male parrot would say, "Oh Chakora bird, try to stay alive, because soon the monsoon season is coming." So then the other bird said, the female bird replied, "But when the time of the monsoon comes, but there are no clouds in the sky, then how will I stay alive?" So by this poetry that the gopis had spoken to the parrots, then Krishna was daily reminded that the gopis were waiting for him, that the time was going on, and it was very difficult for them to survive. So then, here, Shishupala Pondra Shalva. The next relevant person is Shishupala. So perhaps you know that the brother of Rukmini, he had arranged for Rukmini's marriage to Shishupal. But on the day of the marriage, Rukmini had to go to pray to Durga. She had sent a message through a Brahmin to Krishna also, saying that if you don't come and rescue me, then I'll do hard austerities, very intense austerities. My body will wither away and I'll die. And in my next life I'll do the same thing until I die. And for every life, for thousands of lifetimes, I'll do austerities and finish my body until you accept me. So then Krishna was thinking, what can I do? I never wanted to be married. I wanted to remain brahmachari. But this is a very difficult situation. And it's my nature. I reciprocate with my devotees. This is the difference between Krishna and the demigods. You know? Na devam deva achayat. You cannot worship the demigods unless you become like them. So if you want to serve Indra in heaven, you have to have a body which is suitable for residence on that planet of Indra, similar to Indra's body. So when a person worships the demigods, that person becomes like that demigod. But Krishna, his nature is the other way around. When someone worships Krishna, in whatever mood they worship him, he becomes like that. So when Rukmini expressed her intense devotion and dedication and nishtha in Krishna, then Krishna could not check it. And he felt that he was obliged, he was compelled by his nature to reciprocate. So Krishna suddenly disappeared from Dwarka. He just went alone. Everyone was looking around. Where's Krishna? Where's Krishna? He quickly went to Mithila. Some news came back to Dwarka. Oh, Krishna's been spotted in Mithila. When Balaram heard this, he was so upset. What is he doing? It will make war. He's going off to kidnap a princess. Wonderful. Balaram was very upset with Krishna. Not telling anyone, not talking to him, and setting out to perhaps start a war because he wants to kidnap a princess. Wonderful. So Balaram was quite upset, but because Balaram is so attached to Krishna, he called some members of the Yadu army and said, come on, let's go and give him some backup in case it turns into a big fight. So that's what happens when Kshatriyas have a wedding. Usually ends up as a big fight. So Balaram set off with some warriors to Mithila, and when they arrived there, he found Krishna. And when he saw Krishna, he went right up to him and he said, nothing. Just his face was red, and he just thought, sometimes my brother, he just infuriates me. What is he doing here? Causing trouble. But on the day of the wedding, it's the tradition that the bride has to go to pray to Durga. So, Rukmini, she went into the temple of Durga, and old Shishupal and so many warriors were outside. And she prayed to Durga. Oh, please save me. If I am your servant, give me your mercy now. And that my desire will be fulfilled. So what happened? When she came out of the temple of Durga, then Durga, who is actually Katyayani, Yogamaya, manifested a Mayic form of Rukmini, which was extremely beautiful. Of course, a spiritual form is beautiful, but those who are in Maya, they cannot really experience that divine transcendental beauty. So, Mahamaya, the illusory energy, presented a form extremely attractive, which invoked lust in the hearts of Shishupal and all the warriors there. So they saw her come out, and they became inflicted with such intense lust, they just fainted on their chariots. The warriors fainted, the soldiers fainted, and then Krishna quickly came from a hiding place on a chariot, grabbed Rukmini, put Rukmini on the chariot, and sped away. as fast as the wind. He went so fast, he just plowed through the crowds of the soldiers of Shishupal and Shalva and Jarasandha. Other warriors are there. So by the time they opened their eyes and came back to sense, they just saw all their warriors. In the middle of them, there was like a path of just splattered bodies, broken bodies, where Krishna just ran them all down at a high speed. So then Shishupal was devastated. He was completely devastated. He had no chance to fight. Some of his warriors went to try to chase Krishna, but Balaram and the warriors who came with him quickly defeated them. So Shishupal became totally depressed. So that time Jarasandha came to Shishupal. He said, "My dear friend," patted him on the back, "don't be depressed. It's just karma. You know, in life, it's nothing to do with your prowess, that you are a hero or you're not a hero, that you are powerful or not powerful. That's just kal, that's just time, that's just life. According to our fate, sometimes we win and sometimes we lose. But don't give up. Take heart. Be like me. I attacked Krishna so many times." Jarasandha. "I attacked Mathura 17 times, and every time my entire army was annihilated. But the 18th time I came, then Krishna was scared and he ran away. You know? He ran away from Kali Yavan. So, but this is a very interesting point. Krishna ran away from Kali Yavan. Right? So, Krishna also ran away from Mother Yashoda. What's the difference? Krishna ran away from Mother Yashoda and Krishna ran away from Kali Yavan. What's the difference? The difference is that Krishna was afraid of Mother Yashoda. He was not afraid of Kali Yavan and his 33 million Yavana soldiers. So, sometimes when Krishna ran away from Mother Yashoda, he was completely bewildered by her preeti. Her love makes Krishna helpless and he thinks he's a child. And seeing the stick in his mother's hand, his eyes actually become filled with real fear and he's, "I have to get out of here, my mama's going to beat me." And he runs. And when, for example, Krishna, here it's mentioned about Shalva. Shalva did many magical tricks on Krishna. And made it look as if he kidnapped his father, and Krishna became fearful then and became very sad. So Krishna was fearful of what Shalva was doing. He was fearful of Mother Yashoda. He ran away from Mother Yashoda and he ran away from Kali Yavan. But there's no similarity. The fear he had of Mother Yashoda was a genuine fear. He was actually afraid, and it was caused by the preeti of the love of Mother Yashoda bewildered him completely. When Shalva made the illusion that he kidnapped his father, Krishna was afraid also. But he couldn't be afraid because of the preeti of Shalva, because he's a demon. So that was Leela Shakti. The Leela Shakti covered Krishna so that Krishna could experience the Karun Rasa in relation to his father. And in relation to Kali Yavan, he's running away. He was neither covered by Leela Shakti and not bewildered by Preeti. He was fully conscious, fully aware, and just pretending to be afraid of Kali Yavan because he wanted to manifest the pastime of giving the glory of killing Kali Yavan to his devotee, King Muchikunda, and become famous as Ranchur. Because no warrior can ever leave the battlefield. But Krishna has extraordinary qualities. Those qualities for which a person will become infamous, Krishna becomes famous. So, Krishna escaped with Rukmini. Jarasandha was giving some consolation to Shishupal. So then Shishupal was very, very upset. And after some time, Yudhishthira Maharaj in Indraprastha was to perform the Rajasuya Yajna, by which he would be recognized as emperor. So at that time, all the great kings of the world, from all over the world, they were present to attend that great sacrifice. Or to speak of kings, Lord Brahma came, Lord Shiva came, Narada Muni came, all the great sages of the universe, Vishwamitra, Vashishta, Gautam Rishi, Parasara, Maitreya, Devala, Asita. So it was a very extraordinary assembly. At that time, it's necessary that someone should greet the guests and wash their feet. So there was a little abhiman in the persons present there. They didn't want to volunteer for that service, so Krishna volunteered. So in the palace of Yudhishthira Maharaj, in Indraprastha, being overwhelmed by the love of the Pandavas, Krishna became the receptionist. And as each guest arrived, he honored them and washed their feet. So then the time came for the sacrifice. So part of the sacrifice is there should be the Agra Puja. Agra Puja means the first worship of the most meritorious, the most illustrious personality in that assembly. So all the sages and others were discussing. So to whom shall we do the Agra Puja? So at that time, Sahadev, one of the Pandava brothers, he stood up and boldly said, we must do the Agra Puja to Krishna. Krishna is the origin of all existence. Krishna himself is sacrifice personified and all the ingredients of sacrifice. Yatata Romula Nisaitanena Tripyanti Tatskanda Bhajopashaka. And if there's any other worshipful personality, by worshipping Krishna, they're automatically worshipped. In fact, by worshipping Krishna, we have honored every being in the entire universe. Everything exists within his Virat Rup. So we must worship Krishna first. All the sages and other kings who were present there, they began to chant Namo Namaha, Namo Namaha, and Jai, Jai, Jai. But there were so many demonic kings there also, like Shishupal and Duryodhana also. So they were grumbling and mumbling to themselves. So then the Agra Puja began and the worship of Krishna was going on. But when the worship of Krishna was completed, then when the worship of Krishna was completed, then Shishupal stood up. He said, what is this? This is a great offense. Because when a junior personality is respected in the presence of senior personalities, that is an offense to the senior personalities. There are so many great devatas here, Brahma, Shiva, and so many rishis like Narada and Vishwamitra. Why are you worshipping this person? He doesn't follow any rules and regulations, he doesn't follow any etiquette, he doesn't follow any dharma. He's not even a real Kshatriya, he's a Gopal. He's a cowherd boy. This is ridiculous. Now, why did Shishupal wait until the end of the puja to make his complaint? Because he was envious towards Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas. Because the worship of the most illustrious personality is part of the Rajasuya Yajna. So if you mess that up, then the Yajna is spoiled. So if he complained before the worship and convinced them to worship someone whom he considered to be superior, then the Agra Puja would be done nicely and then the whole Yajna would proceed nicely. But if you let them worship Krishna first and then point out, hey, you made a mistake, then the whole Yajna is spoiled. And then he could just leave with his associates and with Duryodhana and others and say, ha 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 ha, Yudhishthira's Yajna is ruined. So this is why he waited. So when he began to insult Krishna, you know, he had a benediction. Krishna had given his mother a benediction. That Krishna would not kill him until he'd made 100 consecutive offenses. So Krishna was hearing all of these criticisms. But actually Krishna never felt offended. When Shishupal was saying, this person goes against all Dharma, he's a cowherd boy, Krishna's thinking, yeah, I am. Remember we were telling yesterday, when he underwent the Upanayan Sanskar, the sacred thread ceremony, he wrote a letter to his father, said, look, I'm just doing this outside, I'm not really a Katra, I'm a Gopal. So you perform the ceremony for my friends in Braj are not different from me, and when I say that Yagya Om Bharam, I'm agreeing to this sacrifice in Braj, not here. So Krishna, he's playing like a warrior, but inside he's just thinking, I'm a Gopal and I can't wait to finish this business of destroying all these demons, I can go home, back to Srimati Radhika. So when Shishupal was insulting him, Krishna never felt insulted. When Shishupal said, he doesn't follow any Dharma, he breaks all Dharma, he's a thief, he was remembering, yes, how he used to steal butter in Braja, how he stole the clothes of the gopis who were bathing in the river, how he played upon his flute and called the gopis who were the wives of others and danced with them in the middle of the night. So Krishna wasn't really bothered. But it was when Shishupal started saying, so these Pandavas, they're so bogus, why did they select him? When he began to insult the Pandavas, then Krishna called Chakra. Because Krishna loves his devotees. Krishna's controlled by the love of his devotees. So then his Chakra cut the head of Shishupal, very clean, like laser surgery, no blood. See, because if blood will fall down on the place that they prepared for the yagya, it will also be spoiled. So Krishna did laser surgery, removing the head of Shishupal, no blood touched the ground. And everyone saw that the soul of Shishupal came out from his body and then entered into the lotus feet of Krishna. But the Mayavadis, impersonalists, they think he attained Sayuja Mukti. But actually, in his eternal spiritual form, because he's a Jai, you know, Jai and Vijay, they had to come as 3 births. So he was Jai, he entered the lotus feet of Krishna, but everything is within Krishna. And from there, he went to the eternal Vaikuntha to serve Lord Narayana. So, in this way, Krishna finished Shishupal. But Shishupal was very close friends with Shalva. So Shalva was very upset about this. And he did hard austerities also to please Lord Shiva. And he was just eating 1 palmful of ash every day for 1 year. So Lord Shiva is called Ashatosh, he's very easily pleased. So after 1 year, Lord Shiva appeared to him and said, I will fulfill your desire, what do you want? He said, I want a spaceship, a huge flying city, equipped with so many powerful weapons and soldiers, made of black iron, that will strike terror into the hearts of the Vrishni dynasty. So Lord Shiva, he gave him the benediction, and Maya Danava constructed such a city. Flying city made of black iron, with so many weapons, that could be moved, it's not steered by a steering wheel or anything, but it could be controlled by the thoughts of Shalva. So then Shalva was very happy. And Krishna was still in Indraprastha, he was staying with the Pandavas at that time. And Shalva set out with his city to attack Dwarka. So when he came to attack Dwarka, it was very critical. His ship was flying here and there and dropping bombs. His soldiers attacked the city, his bombs were smashing the gardens, smashing the gates, smashing the walls, smashing the palaces. It was a terrible and critical situation. Pradyumna, Krishna's grandson, he told Balaram, you can stay inside, I'll take care of this. And Pradyumna, being very eager to show his prowess as a warrior, set out with his warriors. on his chariot. And Pradyumna, being the son of Krishna, his chariot driver is the son of Daruka. So the generations of chariot drivers are driving the chariot for the generations of warriors. That was the tradition. So Daruka's son was driving his chariot, and he went out there to fight. So the general of Shalva, his name was Dyuman, and he began to fight with Pradyumna. And he hit Pradyumna very hard on the chest, and Pradyumna became unconscious and fell down in the chariot. So then his chariot driver took him out from the battlefield. Then shortly afterwards, Pradyumna opened his eyes and realized he'd been taken from the battlefield. He was so upset. He said, never, as a Yadu warrior, left the battlefield. This is so shameful. He began to rebuke his chariot driver. Why did you take me away? You have the Klip Chitta. Klip Chitta means you think like a eunuch. And he abused his chariot driver. His chariot driver said, my lord, I know Dharma. And according to Dharma, the warrior has to protect his chariot driver when there's danger. And if the warrior is unconscious, then it's the duty of the chariot driver to take him from the battlefield. You are unconscious, I had no choice. Pradyumna said, alas, alas. Now I know what will happen. Next time we're at a meeting, a gathering, a social function, then my sisters-in-law, they'll all surround me, the wives of my brothers, and they say, oh, can you tell us what was it like that day when you became a coward? And it was just so painful for him, because he has that warrior spirit. So he told his driver, again, take me to the battlefield. So again he went out, and there was very fierce fighting. But controlled by the mind of Shalva, his spaceship was like the Death Star, He could make it disappear and then reappear somewhere else, and then disappear and reappear somewhere else. And he could make it appear that there were 2 or 3 or 4. So wherever it was appearing, all the other warriors, they were firing their weapons, then it would disappear. Otherwise they would shoot it down, but it wasn't actually the real one. So it was a very frustrating battle. And in the course of this battle, Dwarka was being smashed. Completely smashed. And messengers, because Nanda Maharaj was sending messengers from Braj to Dwarka, and they were coming back on horses that could gallop very, very fast. They were given by Krishna. So the news came to Braj that Shalva has the one Death Star and he's smashing Dwarka. And all the residents of Braj, they were weeping. How could they stay alive? Krishna had sent a letter to Nanda Maharaj. And in that letter he said, my dear father, I am non-different from my words in this letter. So always keep this letter in your pocket. So Nanda Maharaj, he was thinking, I should just kill myself now. He went to the bank of the Jamuna, but he saw that the Jamuna had become so thin and so shallow in separation from Krishna that there wasn't enough water to drown himself. He went to Govardhan. Govardhan had become so low in separation from Krishna, there was no place to jump from. And then he remembered in his pocket, he had the letter from Krishna, and he just looked at it, and he could feel the divine transcendental presence of Krishna. At that time, Brinda Devi was crying, and she went to the Parna Kutir, to the leaf hut of Purnamasi Devi. And when she got there, she saw Purnamasi Devi was also crying. Brinda Devi said, what shall we do? Purnamasi Devi said, I don't know what to do. I am feeling so much distress that I cannot see what is in front of my face, what to speak of, what is very far away, going on in Dwarka. Brinda Devi said, but Purnamasi, you are Yoga Maya. You are the Leela Shakti. You are in charge of all the pastimes of Krishna. How could you not know what's going on and what will happen next? How could you lose control of the Leela? How could you be ignorant of anything? Purnamasi Devi said to Brinda Devi, you are also the Leela Shakti. Because Purnamasi Devi is in charge of all the Leelas in all the rasas, Shanta, Dasa, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. And Yoga Maya Purnamasi has one expansion, that is Brinda Devi. She's the Prakash of Purnamasi Devi. She's in charge of one department, the department of Madhurya Rasa. Because Yoga Maya is an elderly lady, and in her presence Radha Krishna becomes shy. So she has a younger female form, in whose presence Radha Krishna feel less inhibited. So Purnamasi said, Brinda, you are also the Leela Shakti, why are you crying? Brinda Devi said, I don't know. Then Yoga Maya said, I know. I know the reason. The reason is this. The residents of Vrindavan have Preeti. They have Prem. They have love. And this love is so powerful that even Swayam Bhagavan, who is Sarvagya, omniscient, becomes Mugdha. Purnamasi Devi said, that day when Lord Brahma stole the calves and also the carrot boys, actually he did not steal them. But Krishna, being overwhelmed by the preeti of his devotees, he was wondering here and there, oh, where are my cows? Where are my friends? And feeling separation from them. Then the Leela Shakti revealed to him and he expanded. But Krishna in Braja becomes Mugdha, like an ordinary person. Mugdha means bewildered. We are all Mugdha. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are, you cannot say what will happen 1 second from now. So you're blind. We're all blind. What will happen 1 second from now, 5 minutes from now, 1 year from now, 10 years from now? We have no idea. So Krishna, being Mugdha, becomes like that. Like us. What will happen next? He doesn't know. Why? It is the preeti, the love of the Brijvasis that bewilders him. So Purnamasi told Brinda Devi, and now, because we have been staying in Vrindavan, Purnamasi actually came from Avantipur. She's the mother of Sandipani Muni. And she was sent, before Krishna was born, she was sent by Narad from Avantipur to come to Braj. She said, now I've been living in Braj for so many years and associating with all these Brajavasis who have so much preeti, so much love. So now, but the effect of their love has come to me and I've also become Mugdha. So this is a very wonderful element of Krishna's Leela. That first we think God is Ishvara, He's in control of everything. And then when you go more deeply into the philosophy, then you find actually Krishna's not in control of everything. Yoga Maya is Leela Shakti's control of everything. But when you go more deeply, then you find that even Krishna's not in control, even Yoga Maya is not in control. Somebody must be in control. Whoever's in control, please stand up. Who will take responsibility? So who's in control? Prem. Krishna nachaya prem, bhaktana nachaya, apani nachaya, tino nachaya katai. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami said, Prem makes Krishna dance, Prem makes his devotee dance, and Prem itself is like another personality, and all three dance together. But the devotees and Krishna, they're like puppets. Who's in charge? Prem. And this is why our Prayojan is not Krishna or Radha Krishna. Prayojan is only Prem. Prema Pumato Mahan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this great mystery. So, what happened? The Dwarka was being smashed. There were hurricanes, there was dust in the air, no one could see anything. And Krishna was away in Indraprastha. So this battle was going on. Pradyumna was holding the fort for about 27 days. And finally, Sri Krishna returned to Dwarka and saw all the devastation. And he began to fight with Shalva. So when he was fighting with Shalva, Shalva shot an arrow and it hit the left arm of Krishna, and Krishna dropped his bow. At that time, even all the demigods were lamenting, "Alas, alas!" And Shalva said, "Now I'll punish you. You stole the wife of my friend Shishupal on his wedding day, and then you cruelly killed him. And now you will pay." And then Shalva was just about to kill Krishna, but Krishna took his club and quickly struck the chest of Shalva with his club. The collarbone of Shalva actually, with his club. And Shalva was trembling and vomiting blood. And then he disappeared. By his mystic power, he disappeared. Then the next moment, one messenger came to Krishna and said, "Krishna, I have been sent by Devaki. Some warriors of Shalva entered into the palace and they have kidnapped Vasudev Maharaj." Krishna thought, how did it happen? Balaram is inside. How could it possibly happen? Then he looked and he saw in the distance, Shalva was there and he had his father. And he was laughing. "Oh Krishna, now watch this." And he cut off the head of Vasudev. And Krishna was devastated. Then the next moment, then Yogamaya, who was allowing him to feel, to relish the Vira Ras, the Ras of fighting, of heroism, and the love and concern for his father and family members in Dwarka, then Yogamaya allowed him to be aware of it was just some of the powers, the illusory tricks of Maya Danava, which these powers had been given to Shalva. So then, again, Krishna became encouraged and began to fight with Shalva. And Sri Krishna, by his chakra, killed him. And Dwarka was saved. So here, Narad Muni is saying, "Vairena yam nripataya shishupala Pondra Shalvadaya Gati Vilasa Vilokanadya." This verse is extremely important. The implications of this verse reveal the mystery, the power of the holy name. You see, sometimes devotees have a doubt. How will I attain my Siddha Deha, my spiritual body? And the spiritual body is necessary for Raganuga Bhakti. Because Rupa Goswami has said, "Saiva sadaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi tadbhava lipsuna karya prajalokanusarata." Raganuga Bhakti is performed in two ways. In the sadhak form, as a practicing devotee in this world, you follow the 6 Goswamis, how they lived, hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the deities, doing parikrama, and so on. So we follow the angas of bhakti in the external sadhak form. And siddha rupena chatrahi, and in the siddha form, in your perfected spiritual body, you should serve your Ishtadev, following the services of those associates in whose footsteps you want to serve eternally in the spiritual world. Now the question comes, this is a sadhana, but the form is called Siddha Rup. So in the stage of sadhana you are not Siddha. So how can you have a Siddha Rup when you're in the stage of sadhana? So what does this word Siddha Rup mean? Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwacharya Thakur, they have defined the Siddha Rup. They said, Seva upayogi dehena. It is a body. Antas chintit abhistatat. Seva upayogi dehena. It is a deha, a body, which is seva upayogi, exactly appropriate for the service you desire to render. Abhishta seva upayogi. And where is that body? It's antas chintit. Antaha means the antakara, the chitta. And chintit means what? Chinta. The word chinta has so many meanings. It can mean anxiety, it can mean thinking, it can mean imagination even. It can mean so many things. So generally, people think that the Siddha Deha is antas chintita deha, means internally conceived body. It is in anta, internally, chintit, conceived. Internally conceived body. Sometimes people say mentally conceived body. This is the translation. But this is not what it means. In Srimad-Bhagavatam, it is described that when a person engages in remembrance, meditation on the Supreme Lord, then the form of the Lord appears in their heart, and that form of the Lord is Chintamaya. Chintamaya. So the Acharyas explain Chintamaya means that which appears by meditation. In other words, this antas chintita deha is not something that you mentally conceive. It's not something that someone can give to you. Okay, you're a 12-and-a-half-year-old girl, and your name is this, and your cloth is like this. So then in your mind you try to imagine. That imagination is kalpana, just imagination. Kalpana is a rajasic vritti of the intelligence. Rajasic vritti. You cannot serve Krishna by a rajasic vritti of the intelligence. So, here, antas chintit means that body which appears as the result of your dhyan meditation. So that is what is described here. In the third line, in regard to Shishupal, Paundrak, Vasudev, Shalva and so on, it says, Dhyayanta akrita diya. Because they were always thinking of Krishna, then their chitta, their dhi, became akrita. That means it assumed a form exactly like Krishna's form. And that is the nature of the chitta. It's called samapati. In the Yoga Sutras it's called samapati. Once the mind becomes one-pointed in the stage of ekagra, then a power comes that whatever you think of, your mind transforms and becomes exactly like that. So because these personalities were all focused on Krishna with an intense absorption in hatred for him, so their chitta transformed and assumed a form exactly similar to Krishna's form. And therefore, tatsamyamapu, they attained sarupya mukti, a divine transcendental body exactly like his at the time of their death. So, in the same way, if someone is in Vaidhi Bhakti and they're worshipping, let us say, Lord Narayan, so because they're absorbed in remembering Lord Narayan, then their chitta transforms and becomes just like the form of Lord Narayan, and they can have a formal-handed form in Vaikuntha. But the speciality of Raganuga Bhakti is that actually you don't focus your meditation on Krishna alone, but you focus on an associate of Krishna, more than you focus on Krishna. Therefore, before describing Saiva Sadhaka Rupena, Siddha Rupena Chatrahi, Rupa Goswami explains how you get that Siddha Rup. How do you get it? Krishnam Smaram Janam Chasta, Prastam Nija Smihitam, Tattatkatar Chastraso, Kuryat Vasam Brajay Sada. The meaning here is Krishnam Smaram Janam Chasta, Prastam Nija Smihitam. Here, the word prastam is an adjective to Krishna. And the word nija samihitam is an adjective to janam, the associates of Krishna. So it's prastam Krishnam sparam. Cha asya sunihitam janam. That's the actual anvai, the natural order. If you were to write it, not in a fixed sloka, in poetry, which is bound by the rules of chanda or meter, then you could rewrite it in the natural order in which it comes. So, prastam Krishna, anija sunihitam janam. The devotee should remember that form of Krishna which is very dear to him, along with those that associate, whose service is most desirable, after whom you want to follow. And by doing that, what happens? By constant meditation on that associate, then dhyayanta akrita diya shayana sanado. Just like the third line here, then your chitta akritadi becomes exactly like that associate. And when that happens, that's called antaschintat abhistatat seva upayogi dehena. It's not imagination. And this is why Mahaprabhu, he learned from his Gurudev and he taught to others. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam, Kalo Nashteva, Nashteva, Nashteva Gatiranyata. There is no other way, there is no other way. The holy name is the only way. You cannot bypass the holy name, you cannot go around, you cannot take a shortcut outside of Nam Bhajan to do Raganuga Bhakti. Because this Siddha Deha is not meant to be conceived, it's not imagined, it's not kalpanic, it's not a product of the mind. But when you chant the holy name is like a beach, and this beach opens step by step in a crumb. Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtanama smrityo kramena rasanama nasidyo. So Krishna's Kaviraj, he said, Tabu jani aparade tohete prachu Krishna nama bija tohina kore ankur. If you are chanting the holy name and that seed is not opening, then you are chanting Namaparada. If you can leave the 10 offenses to the holy name, 100% for certain, that Nam Bij will open. And the opening of Nam is the experience of Krishna's Roop. And then Gun, his qualities, and then his associates. Actually, Pujapad Vibhud Badayan Maharaj was explaining, when you chant Harinam, then the Vrindavan Yogapi, the Vrindavan Kalpadamadaha, Srimad Ratnagara Singhasana, Radha Krishna seated upon a throne beneath the desire tree, but not alone. Sri Sri Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prashtalibi Sevyamano Smarami. Prashtalibi with their very dear associates Lalita and Vishaka, Rupamanjari, Ratimanjari. So when the beach of Nam opens, then you will see this. And when you do Dhyayanta, when you meditate on that associate you want to follow, then naturally your chitta will become just like Rupamanjari. If you're focusing on them, how they are serving Tambu, Lapana, Pada, Madana, Payodana, Visara, Brinda, Ranya, Maheshwarim, Pratyaya, Satoshanti, Priya, Prana, Prashta, Saki, Kilada, Kilas, and Kojita, Bhumikai, Keli, Bhumishu, Rupamanjari, Makasta, Dasika, Sansai. Raghunath Das Goswami is describing that stage when the seed of Nam opens and you begin to see how the gopis are serving Radha and Krishna. He said, now in my mind I take complete shelter of the maidservants headed by Rupamanjari. What are they doing? They're offering tambul to the divine couple. Pada Madana, massaging their lotus feet, bringing refreshing and cooling water, taking Radhika through the forest on Abhisar to meet with Krishna. Prana prasta saki kilara pikilasam kochita bhumika. And when Radha Krishna go alone into a kunj, then Lalita and Vishaka become shy and they retreat into the distance and sit down beneath the tree on the bank of Jamuna and converse with each other. But I will not go. Because at that time, Rupa Manjari and her group, they have no shame, no shyness at all. And they'll enter into the kunj and serve Radha Krishna when they're alone. This is Krishnam Smaram Janam Jasya Prastam Nija Samikitam. To chant the holy names and always remain in the realization of divine Vrindavan. To hear and chant about those associates you want to follow. And then, the third line of this verse comes, Jayanta Akritadiya Shayanasanado Tat Samyamahu Anuraktadiyam Punakim. So those who are Anuraktadiya, really doing bhajan like this, then what is the question? 100% there is no doubt at all. They'll attain a beautiful, divine, spiritual body. And at the end of this life, they attain in this life their Swarup Siddhi, realization of their spiritual form, and at the end of this life, they'll lose awareness of their sadhak form and enter Vastu Siddhi into the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad in Bhakti Sandarbha, when he is describing the path of Raganuga Bhakti, how one attains his spiritual form by chanting the holy names, Srila Jiva Goswami is presenting this verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So in this way, the confidential glories of the holy name and Raganuga Bhakti, how they've been scattered here and there in the form of conversations, in this case between Narada and Vasudev Maharaj in the 11th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Therefore it said, Jaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavaya Sthane Ekanta Raswai Koro Chaitanya Tarane. If you want to understand Srimad-Bhagavatam, if you try to understand it by yourself, you'll never understand. Not possible. So Damna Goswami said, Jaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavaya. Go to a pure Vaishnava who has realization. Bhajana Vidya Mananya Manya Ninda Adishundridam Ipsita Sangha Ladya. Go into that association and hear. And gradually, Tadyoshnat Asu Apavagavardhani Sradarati Bhakti Anukramasyati. Step by step, the path to the spiritual world will become clear to us. Sri Harinam Prabhu ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari. Perhaps I'll take questions in the next class because I've gone over my time. So we'll just sing a couple of Mahamantras later. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vishnu Bhare Shtora Srimad-Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vishnu Bhare Shtora Srimad Bhakti Bhagwan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Mahabhag Pavashi Kokshoras Bhave Maharaj ki jai. Satyam Goswami Siddhanta Thakur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Sri Rupanuga Gauri Guru Bhag ki jai. Prem se Ghosh Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Paramangal Ketaman Gormana Ki Jai Tibuna Mahu Karisi Hari Naam Sankirtan Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Gopinath Vadan Mahanju Ki Jai Ananta Kori Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagara Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Gaura Premanande Vrindai Tulasi Devai Priyai Kesava Sacha Krishna Bhakti Pradi Devi Sattva Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Prayemacha Uditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo